girlfriends of mass murderers.
Watch and find out why we call them animals.
You're watching the Total TV Network.
Hi there. Welcome to this edition of Fast Forward. I think today we ought to talk about the most vicious animal on the whole food chain.
Wait, you're not talking about the dog, are you?
Yeah, I'm talking about the puppy. The big, ferocious, mean-spirited puppy. No, I'm talking about that evil creature that takes innocent teenagers captive and holds them in their rooms until they're old enough to come out and get a job.
Wait. Now, I thought this show was on...
Parents. It's about parents.
Parents?
Yeah. The whole independence thing. Parents? Yeah, it's the whole thing, the independence.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what?
That was weird.
What?
I'm Polly Butler. This is my loyal sidekick, Jeremy.
Sidekick? I'm not Dale Evans. I'm the muscle of the operation.
In your dreams,
Whatever.
Jeremy. Well, anyway, welcome to this edition of Fast Forward.
Yeah, we're talking about parents.
Yeah, parents. God, they do the darndest things,
Don't they, though?
I swear.
I remember this one time when I was a freshman in high school, and I was hanging with a pretty rebellious crowd, right? And we were all wearing black and looking cool, and I'd forgotten my lunch. So my dad comes in at lunchtime, and we're all sitting in the corner, waving it around up above his head like it's a lantern or something. He's, Jeremy!
Oh my God.
Of course, his voice isn't quite as ladylike
I
as
can't
that.
believe you
but
got through that. I'm serious. I mean, okay, I'd have left the country.
I did.
I would have left
actually.
the country.
I went to Nicaragua.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, I headed up the government there.
I got one. His parents wouldn't let him see Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, man, shut up. And they thought it was an axe murderer guy. Oh, man.
And my daddy told this boy that he got a rifle when he called me. Just to scare him out.
She was leaving my house and I kissed her goodbye. And it was a little peck. And my dad, he goes, Jason and Nikki sitting in a tree. And they did the whole thing, my whole family in chorus.
As you slowly grow up, it seems like they do stuff more and more immature and stupid that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And you ask yourself, dog, that was dumb. Why'd she do that?
First grade, this makes me mad. First grade, we had this Christmas play, and I was an elf. I was supposed to wear green tights. All the elves were. And nobody did but me. And I kept telling my mom, nobody's gonna be doing it, nobody's gonna wear green tights, and she made me wear them.
I don't know. Green tights. I mean, don't parents know what that can do to a kid?
Parents can really embarrass us at times.
Yeah, it's those crucial moments in a kid's life that can really warp them, you know?
Oh, that explains what happened to you, Jeremy.
That's funny, Polly.
My parents don't understand about anything. It could be about guys, about school, about church, just anything.
They won't budge. They're dead set. There's no compromise, none whatsoever. It's their way or no way.
They're not very sensitive sometimes to what you're feeling. They don't understand where you're coming from. They always say they do, but they don't.
He doesn't really understand about my pressure.
My daughter doesn't understand sometimes when I say, I need to know where you are and who you're with. The response is, well, you don't trust me.
They just have no earthly idea about that, and they don't realize that we do know what's best.
Okay, we got bills to pay. You know, we gotta have food in the house. We gotta keep the electricity on. Me and my wife both work, and it's still a struggle.
You know, I don't get it. because the parents say that the kids don't understand, and the kids say that the parents don't understand, and then it gets into this weird monumental battle thing. It's like this us versus them.
Well, yeah, but even if they did understand, they don't have to budge, you know? I mean, they are the parent, and it gets back to the whole power thing again.
Yeah, exactly. See, they've got it, and we want it.
I got the power! I don't think you should sing.
My parents seem like they just want me to be a kid forever. I mean, until I probably move out of the house, that's how they're going to treat me as a kid. I mean, my privileges never go up.
She still wants to pick out my clothes, still wants to tell me how to comb my hair and stuff like that.
I mean, my parents hate the way I have my hair cut, or when we went to get it done, I'm sitting there and I get my hair cut, and as she's doing it, my mom actually walks up to the lady as I'm getting it cut and asks her what she thinks she's doing, and asks me what I'm doing, and I'm like, it's the way I want it.
It's because you feel like they're hovering over you, and they're doing it out of love, and I understand that. I wanted to make my own mistakes for myself so I could say, yes, I made that mistake, you know, I did it.
He will deliberately get the lower grade to try to prove to us that he's not that smart in that class.
Meredith had a curfew, and some of her friends did not have curfews, and they wanted to do things late at night that she couldn't do. So what she decided to do to deal with that problem was to sneak out of the house.
When they say they don't love you, as an emotional type thing, just to get back at you, just to get you to hurt, you really do hurt.
And he'll do it trying to hurt us, but in that instance, he's really hurting himself.
Jeremy, you never manipulated your parents like that, did you?
Constantly.
Yeah.
No, never.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. I was given full responsibility for everything. I took care of the house, I maintained the plants, I made all the
full
clothing
responsibility.
for the children.
Remember that? Remember the purple hair
No.
incident? Remember you dyed your hair purple? Would your parents think of your hair being magenta?
My hair was not magenta, it was,
it was
plum
so.
thing. No, it was plum, and they liked it. Kind of. They hated it when I bleached it white. I caught a lot of grief for it that
No one liked it.
I had that back. I really hard.
If I even make like a low B or a high B, they're like, oh, I'm sure you could have made an A.
You can't please your parents.
But half the time it came from my own family, just like I wasn't good enough.
No matter what you do, or at least with my father, it's never good enough, but...
I never be something. I'm never going to be good enough. I'm never going to be the best. So it's like, why try? It's not worth it.
You know, my dad, he's a hard worker and all, and that means that he's gone a lot. And there's a lot of times that I wished he was there, and he wasn't. That's another thing that can make you feel rejected.
Since I've been growing up, I haven't seen my mother. She works at night, and you know, right now she's gone in, and she won't be back until like 2 o'clock in the morning.
My family don't spend time together because my mom has 2 jobs, my dad works. I babysit my sisters most of the time, and it's real hard on me because I don't have time being a teenager. I'm more of an adult, like a mother, instead of a teenager.
It just seems like my dad's like never like loved me, and that's just a hole in my heart. And even if you have a mom that's perfect, you still need love from your dad. Like one time in church, they said like the reason that your parents set boundaries for you is because they love you. And I thought about it. I was like, my dad has never set a boundary for me ever. He just doesn't participate in my life. One time he didn't even know what grade I was in. If my dad would just spend time with me, do things with me, just take a little extra time, just to say, you know, I care, I love you.
Because I come from a divorced family, I'd just like to say something else about this rejection thing. So many teenagers are having to deal with divorce right now, and that can really make them feel left out.
I've sat up at nights wondering, you know, what is she doing with her new husband? Wondering if she thinks about me ever. She writes sometimes, but it's not the same as having her there for you. I felt sad for a long time when she left, and then when I realized, you know, she's not coming back, it was kind of like, well, I'm one burden that's gone from her. And I kind of felt like, well, at least she doesn't have to deal with me anymore. I've had feelings like if my mom came back, I probably wouldn't talk to her or say anything to her just to show her how bad she hurt me for leaving my dad. And it hurts the kids a lot because they feel they're not wanted by the parent that's leaving them. And I just, you know, most kids feel not unloved because of the way their parents act. Most parents think divorce doesn't affect the kids, and I know it does because I'm a kid from a divorced family.
Man, so many kids come from broken homes these days.
Yeah, I know how she feels. And you can tell yourself that the rejection is unintentional, but it still hurts. I mean, it's like the whole independence thing, you know? I mean, I'm trying to become independent of my parents, but I still need them.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get some good advice from our expert, Bill Myers.
Oh, wait, let's introduce him first, okay? Among his many writing talents, he's written 2 books on hot topics for teens.
Yeah, one of those hot topics seems to be parents.
Yeah, no kidding. And he's directed several award-winning films, and he's a co-creator of the McGee and Me series.
Oh, hey, and he lives in Hollywood, which means he's a pretty fun guy.
Thanks, guys. Okay, let's see where we can go with this independence thing. You know, basically, when it's all said and done, the object of the game is to become an independent adult without doing too much permanent damage to you or your parents. Now, basically, there's 2 keys to this game. The first key is to try and understand some of your parents' feelings, you know, where your parents are coming from. And one of the main things your parents are feeling right now is responsibility. Responsibility for you.
I really feel that they're extremely a large responsibility.
So I'm responsible to raise him in the best that I know how.
It's scary to think, oh gosh, am I telling him right? Am I bringing him up right?
You see, from the moment you were first born, your parents began to worry. I mean, they worried about your health. They worried about when you cried, you know, if you'd ever stop. As you started playing with blocks and learning your ABCs, they were wondering if you were smart enough or if you're some sort of mental mutant. You know, will she make good grades? Will he make the baseball team? Will she ever stop picking her nose and eating it? Even today, the questions and doubts and concerns just keep rolling in. You see, your failures become their failures. Your successes become their successes. Basically, your parents are faced with choices. See, too much freedom and they can destroy you. Too little freedom and you explode with frustration. You are like a major responsibility. And along with feeling responsible for you, you folks are also dealing with the other day-to-day pressures. You know, the migraine makers of life.
I have a real struggle trying to balance the amount of time I spend at work and the amount of time I spend at home.
Making sure that they don't miss one activity that they want to go to, whether that means I have to leave school, run to this place, pick up the other one.
They have to understand that we're out there working.
It's still a struggle. We're just barely making it, even though we're both working.
I mean, have you ever noticed that your parents seem just a little bit distracted or stressed out or overwhelmed? Come to think of it, have you ever noticed when they're not that way? I mean, isn't this the way it works? Your dad's boss unloads on him, your dad unloads on your mom unloads on you, you unload on your little sister, and finally the cat winds up being the victim. It's, you know, it's the old chain of pain routine. Or maybe dad's going through a midlife crisis, or mom's discouraged because she has to go back to work, as if working in the house isn't enough. She has to go back to work and make the bucks outside the home. Or maybe they're both trying to recover from a messy divorce. See, with all the outside pressure, your parents' love may not always be obvious. And instead of directing their anger and frustration in the right direction, they dump it on you. Now, that doesn't make it right, but understanding that they're getting clobbered helps you to understand why you're getting dumped on.
I feel rejected when you go and you ask your kids something and they won't talk to you at all.
He's got his own little life now, and it's like I never see him on weekends, and he's always somewhere else.
It just doesn't seem like he really wants to let me into that part of his life.
You know, when you stop and think about it, the very thing that you're striving for, independence, is the very thing that leaves your parents feeling the big R. No, not that. Now, try again. Rejection. Thanks. Look, at one time, they were all you lived for. They were the #1 all-time hit in your life. Now they're lucky if they can even make it on your chart. See, with your hectic schedule and your group of friends, you no longer depend on them for advice or approval. And believe it or not, it gets just a little bit lonely out there in parenthood. Okay, another feeling that your parents feel is guilt.
I don't know what I'm doing, but it's not right, whatever it is.
At the time, I beat myself up, you know, going, what did I do, what did I do, what did I do? I died 1,000 deaths over, you know, the pain that she's felt.
And it was like, gosh, I didn't spend any time with my child today.
You know, parents are so sensitive to these feelings of guilt. I mean, all their son or daughter has to do is slip up once, and suddenly this feeling of guilt washes over them. You know, the if only syndrome starts to happen. If only I would have been a better parent. If only I would have listened better. And this piles up on them. And you guys, most of you know how to play this guilt game with them, don't you? I mean, all you have to do is remind them of one little slip up, and just like that, they buy you what you always wanted, or suddenly they let you win an argument. And even when they have fairly normal teenagers, these feelings of guilt are right there ready to come into the process. But when a parent faces a real crisis, these feelings of guilt can be overwhelming.
I guess it was probably about a year ago, year and a half ago. Attitude changed a lot, you know.
I mean, I can't communicate with her about this kind of stuff because I don't think she understands. And so we don't really communicate much at all.
I was very controlling. I wanted Misty to be the way I wanted her to be, you know, to act in the appropriate manner. I didn't let her grow. I didn't let her do. I didn't let her learn on her own. I tried to take up the slack and do too much. And it never gave Misty the chance.
My whole life I haven't really felt good about myself. I mean, you know, my dad left when I was little and stuff, and, you know, I haven't been really close to him and stuff.
About 13, she really started doing that, venting. You know, I don't understand why my dad doesn't ever call me. I don't understand why my dad doesn't send me birthday cards. I don't understand, you know, and there was a lot of problems within our family with her stepfather. She blamed him and lashed out a lot at him, I feel, for what she didn't have with her biological dad.
I did not like him at all. I had no communication with him at all, because I thought he was taking the place of my dad and stuff.
I think Misty has always felt on the outside. I think she feels like she's looking through a window, looking in at all of us, and she's on the outside.
Well, before I started using alcohol and pot and stuff, I didn't feel, I mean, I felt lonely. I just felt like a lonely inside, you know. I didn't feel like I was an outsider to everybody. That's how I felt.
She's real unhappy, she's real lost, and she's very lonely. And she's very scared.
Like feeling lonely and stuff. I just wanted to forget about it. And when I feel that way and I go off and I get drunk or whatever, it takes my feelings away for a while, but eventually they come back.
I had a lot of guilt, a lot of blame. I blamed myself for a lot of what Misty was going through, you know, and I would look back and I think I should have done this, I should have done that. And I'm really trying to change a lot of old patterns and negative things, and trying to be a little bit different that way. And it's what Misty's got to work on her stuff too.
In some ways, I want to stop. In some ways, it's just, you know, real hard, and you can't do it. So I don't know.
I love her so much, it doesn't matter, you know, I will continually love her. I get real angry and I get real frustrated, but the love will never go away.
Wow. Misty and her mom both seem to be really trying, you know, but I don't know. It's like they're miles apart. Do you think Misty realizes what her mom is feeling?
I don't know. It seems sad to me that two people can live in the same house and not know what the other one is thinking. I don't get it. I don't understand why people just can't sit down and talk.
Oh, well, I can talk to you, you know, but I mean, when it comes to talking to my parents, now that's a whole different story.
Now, if you recall, the first key to surviving with your mom and dad was understanding how they feel. Now we're coming to the second key, and that key is communication.
I have trouble talking to my parents about, like, my boyfriends or my, you know, I don't know, my physical and emotional, you know, relations with my parents. I just have trouble opening up to them.
When I try to talk to my dad, it's like talking to a wall.
Lately, as I get older, I find it harder to, like, bridge the distance between my parents and myself.
I don't talk to him about, like, boyfriends and stuff because he'd probably go, now, back in the old days.
Sometimes I just don't feel I can talk to them. I always talk to my friends.
I have problems talking to my dad because he's like really protective and stuff.
And we try to tell her our point of view about it. She'll get to fussing and yelling. If we don't go ahead and agree with her, we're in trouble.
Okay, so how do we communicate? First, learn to talk to your parents. You know, like a real conversation. You see, that's when you can really express yourself and what's going on in your life. Second, watch your attitude. You know, don't tick them off by making all sorts of outlandish comments or being sarcastic. I mean, you always make me. You never let me. Yeah, for sure. That's not going to get you anywhere. Stop with it. Third, be willing to listen. Look, I know, but you've got to find out what's cooking inside their heads. I mean, help your parents get what's really bugging them off their chest. Because once you've done that, once you've cleared the air, you'll be able to have a real conversation with them with much better results. Fourth, admit when you're wrong. Now, I know that's tough when you're trying to prove that you're an adult and that you're right, but by saying you're sorry, well, that's one of the surest signs of maturity. And finally, forgive them. I mean, even when your parents are absolutely unreasonable or when they're blaming you for something you're totally innocent of, don't hold it in, don't hold a grudge. Forgive them.
Well, Jeremy, looks like we have to do a lot of work to get through this independence thing.
Yeah. I'm sure I can handle it.
Well, that's
I'm just worried about that guy with those green teeth.
Oh, well, don't worry about him. Look,
No,
look, what did you learn in this show?
Okay, what did I learn in this show?
Yeah.
It's another quiz, right?
Right, right.
Okay, you have to be able to understand your parents' feelings. You know, you have to be able to communicate with them. You know, you got to be able to talk to them, to listen to them, and be sure you watch the attitude because there's really no room for it. You got to learn to apologize for what you do that's stupid, and you have to be able to forgive them.
Yeah, you did really well. I'm pretty impressed.
Thank you.
That was a good job.
Thanks.
Yeah. What?
I can't shake this tights thing, man.
Jeremy, forgive me.
No, I can't.
You'll have to get over it. I promise you. He's fine.
It's not
it was
right.
First grade. He was in
it's
first
fundamentally
grade.
wrong.
The boy is fine.
I can't.
He's fine.
No,
He's
I gotta
joking
get
about
him
it now. He
something.
thinks it's
I
funny.
should send him
No,
something.
it's funny.
Like a card or flowers or some.
Jeremy.
A canned ham.
Overboard.
Huh?
You've
I'll get him a
gone
canned
overboard.
ham or some mutton. Everyone loves mutton. What do you think about
Jeremy,
that? Huh?
Jeremy.
I could do that. I could send him that. Maybe some new tights. Kidding. I'm kidding. You're getting a lovely ham from me. Nice ham.